For some time now, the synthetic CDO's business resembled nothing so much as a daisy chain. It was just the way Leigh Rainery had described it in that speech we gave at the Ost. The buyers of the loss-rated equity tranche weren't investors who were eager to take that risk in return for the promise of the high yield. Many of those investors were gone. Mostly the buyers were hedge funds interested in doing that correlation trade. The one where they bought the equity and then shorted the AAA, so they won no matter what the housing market did. The riskiness of the equity slice was mainly linked to them. The buyers of the Mezzanine and Triple B slices were other CDOs which would then load them into new AAA slices, and she buyers of AAA were quite often the underwriters themselves, taking the long sides against the same hit from that had also taken the short side of Triple A's. Triple no need for actual collateral signs. Everything was referenced as such. Deals could be done an infinitum if you were working fairly short of CDOs. This was an important component of your strategy because these were the easier to do so. In addition to underwriting cash, CDOs using mortgage banking securities, Semercy had latently also dived into the synthetic game. It was not a pretty thing to watch. Chicago-based hit from Meitigar will come to be the face of their correlation trade, according to the non-profit investigate news service ProPublica, which conducted a 6-month investigation into Meitigar trades, some $30 billion worth of CDOs in which Meitigar owned the equity were issued between May 2006 in May 2007, by JP Morgan estimates, manager CDOs accounted for between 35 and 16% of the mezzanine CDOs that were issued in that period. Merrill did a number of these deals with Magnetar. The performance of these CDOs can be summed up in one word: horrible. The essence of the ProPublica allegation in that Magnetar, like Paulson, was based intact. Its CDOs will implode. Magnetar denies that this was its intent and claims that its strategy was based on a magnetal statics models. The firm says it would have done well regardless of the direction of the market in almost the same matter. The triple has did blow up. You didn't have to be John Paulson picking out the securities you were then going to short to to make a fortune in this trade, given that the CDO's reference barely underwriting subprime mortgage. They had to blow up almost by definitions. That's what subprime mortgages were poised to do in 2007. Take a deal called Norma, $1.5 billion synthetic CDOs that Merrill Lynch put together in March of 2007 and which would later be dissected by the Wall Street Journal. The CDO's manager Merrill chose to manage the deal was near. It was a firming penny stocks operator that Merrill had fallen in part into the CDO's management business. Merrill had a number of similar captive CDO's managers who knew without being told what kind of collateral the CDO's was supposed to reference. Norma included a handful of subprime mortgage banked securities about $90 million worth, or 6% of the overall holdings, according to the journal. It also included base of other CDOs, primarily BBB, mezzanine tranche, some of which Merrill had warehoused in order to launder them into the AAA tranche at a later date, and some of which were became management by CDO manager Merrill had hired, including Ricardi himself, who had joined Chow and Company a big senior manager. The rest of Norma considered a credit default squad that referenced strange of other CDOs that contained subprime securities. In early 2007, a trade rating agency gave 75% of Norma's range AAA. Managers that bought the equity portion, of course, at the same time ensured that the AAA tranche of Norma, just John Paulson had done in his Abacus deal. Merrill Lynch prepared a 78-page pink pitch book to help convince investors to buy pieces of the CDO. The journal would later note that the pitch book stressed that mortgage-backed securities have historically exhibited lower default rates, higher recovery upon default, and better rating stability than comparably rated corporate bonds. Merrill's fee was in the neighborhood of $20 million. Ultimately, Merrill was able to sell worth of tranche, uh, most time lower ranges, one which Merrill Lynch was promised 5.5% interest about LIBOR, a very hit yield, lowering the interest rate that banks change when they lend to each other. This was so eventual, according to a lawsuit later filed against Merrill for its role in underwriting Norma. The securities had declining by 20%, even before the deal closed by December 2007, just 9 months after Norma had been created. Most of the deal had been downgraded to junk by the rating agency.